7.
It's our game.
2, 1, 0. We have a liftoff.
15, 10, 5. Warner sets up. Home run ball. Vittori holds. Got it. Touchdown Rams.
The Rams were one kick away from a championship last season, victims of one of the biggest upsets in Super Bowl history. Now, Kurt Warner is ready to lead the most exciting team in the NFL back to the promised land. With a high-powered offense and a dynamic defense, the Rams again are the favorites to win it all. Head coach Marty Schottenheimer's Chargers are ushering in a new era in San Diego. Drew Brees is now calling the signals and hopes that his arm, combined with one of the league's hardest-hitting defenses, can resurrect a once-proud franchise. It's a preseason showdown in the gateway to the West. Next. With that, we welcome you to the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis, Missouri. Preseason football action continues here on CBS with the San Diego Chargers and the St. Louis Rams. And good evening, everyone. Welcome to St. Louis. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms for a battle between two teams with completely different perspectives coming into this season. The San Diego Chargers finished last year on a 9-game losing streak. The Rams finished a field goal short of a championship, and they come back this year, Phil, looking every bit as good as they were last year.
Yeah, they're loaded. You watch the St. Louis Rams on TV, and you say, hey, they're pretty good. Then you come here and watch film, and you see them practice, and you go, these guys are special. And when you have special players, it takes a special coach. Mike Martz is that guy to take advantage of all that skill. And, you know, you hear about a lot of records in pro sports nowadays, but 500 points over that 3 straight years, that tells you Mike Martz is doing a terrific job with this talent. On the other side, you have the San Diego Chargers. Marty Schottenheimer takes over. Why does he take over? He says, well, I think this team has a chance to win. And when a team has only won 6 games over 2 years, trust me, those players are listening to what the coach has to say.
Let's go back to Mike Martz for a second, because you talk about his accomplishments. It helps a lot when you've got 2 of the most explosive offensive players in football.
Well, that's right. You got Kurt Warner, quarterback. Anytime a team scores over 500 points, that quarterback has to be playing well. Complex offense, he can find the open receiver. And if the passing game's not working, go to the running game and look who you got. You got Marshall Faulk back there, a terrific runner, but really something that people don't pay enough attention to. He is a terrific pass receiver out of the backfield.
Now, you mentioned Marty Schottenheimer, brand new in charge in San Diego. It didn't take long for the new sheriff in town to make his mark. He switched quarterbacks.
Well, he switched quarterbacks. He went with a young quarterback, Drew Brees, a lot of throws in college. Marty Schottenheimer explained it best. He says, look, he's a very young quarterback. We think he's going to get better with every single snap this year. That's why they picked Drew Brees.
All right, Phil, the Chargers and the Rams on tap here in St. Louis tonight. We'll take a timeout. On the other side of that timeout, we'll send you to New York. Jim, Dion, Boomer, and Dan standing by. Don't go away.
And hello, friends. Welcome to our Fifth Avenue studios in New York. Jim Nance here with the new generation. That's what we're calling you guys. My new teammates.
We thought of as new, you know.
Boomer Esiason, Deion Sanders, Dan Marino.
Hello,
welcome,
Mr.
gentlemen.
Nance.
Good to be with all of you. Deion, give the guys an idea what they're in store for here.
We're going to have a good time. You ready?
I'm ready.
You sure you're ready?
partner.
I'm telling you, we're going to have a good time. It's going to be unpredictable. And I love these guys because both of them have something in common.
We got you right.
I picked both of them off.
Oh, easy.
Yes,
easy.
right. That's right.
Why does he always bring that up?
I got
do that
to,
rehearsal.
man.
That's why we put you right between the 2 quarterbacks. But we're going to open up here tonight with the Rams and the Chargers. And I want to ask you, Boomer, about the Rams coming off that tough Super Bowl loss. What do you expect from them this season?
You know, I still think that they're the best team in football, clearly. I mean, they have the best players. Even with a bad thumb, Kurt Warner threw for 365 yards in last year's Super Bowl. They had the momentum in the 4th quarter. It doesn't mean anything to them. And when you talk to them man to man, they'll tell you that they were disappointed, but certainly are still motivated. And I think even though the league has gotten closer competitively, still they are the class of the league.
Speaking of talking to the man, I had the pleasure to talk to Marshall Faulk, the man. Forget about old Bruce Warner. Marshall Faulk is the key that drives this machine.
Hey, Boomer, we'd have loved to have Marshall Faulk, that's for sure, right? But when you look, the last 3 years MVPs were Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner. St. Louis, an unbelievable team. But there's a team out there called Philadelphia that gives them trouble.
That's right.
Look for Philadelphia to give them trouble this year.
They just don't get the respect, it seems, even to this day. But I want to ask you about Breeze over Flutie, the decision by Schottenheimer. Breeze to start.
I think you got to love this decision, you know, especially it gives him confidence because he decides a couple weeks before the season he's going to be the starter. He's the quarterback of the future. I was actually at a golf tournament with Marty, and he said nothing but good things about this young kid.
Marty said nothing but good things?
Nothing but good things about
That's not the Marty.
He got a lot of confidence in him, and you know, Flutie's 39 years old, so I go with the young guy.
How old are you?
I'm 40, buddy.
You're 40 years old.
I'm 40.
Drew Brees, but I'll tell you what, Drew Brees, Marty, it didn't take him long enough to look over the practice field and say, hey, we're not going to win this year. Let me get this young boy ready. Drew Brees, come on up here, man, and get behind his team.
The thing about it, he showed enough.
You disagree?
No, he showed enough last year, I think, to warrant a look. But I still think if you want to win now, you got to go with the veteran. Doug Flutie is a proven winner. The one thing I do like about Doug Flutie is how he's handling this. This is not a Rob Johnson situation.
What is he going to say?
Well, he's got to say the right thing. He's got to keep his job. But don't be surprised if they call on him to rescue him.
I ask you, does he not play better when he comes off the bench?
Well, yeah, he has the flair for the dramatic.
There's no six-man award in the NFL.
Right.
Hey, I want to ask you about New England, Dion, how the Patriots back up that Super Bowl.
First thing you think about is Tom Brady. I had the pleasure to ask the coach, hey, how do you guys handle winning the Super Bowl? Everybody's going to be gunning for you now, baby. Trust me, I won two. Everybody's waiting for you, but this guy's ready. Tom Brady has handled himself well. He works hard. He leads the team in everything. And this guy's going to have success this year also.
And it's a whole different perspective this year because Tom Brady came off the bench last year. Bledsoe was the starter. He did a heck of a job, but now there's that bullseye on him. You know, he's the one that they're going to expect to get back to that game. It's going to be tough on him.
All right, and last thing before we go, Spurrier taking over for Schottenheimer in Washington. What do you think?
Marty, you had to go. Spurrier, I love you. You're a Florida Gator, but hey, it's all right. I love you. I love Dan. Spurrier's going to do all right. But Marvin Lewis is the key to that team. He's going to have that defense playing like you've never seen before.
I love Spurrier for a different reason, because everybody needs a villain. It's been Brian Billick the last few years. Now it's going to be Steve Spurrier. He's already ticked off the 49ers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both of those teams, I believe, are on their schedule as the season starts. So look for him to be the villain. He's going to be a lot of fun to talk about as the season goes on.
I'm not going to say a thing about it.
And you got to love the offense he's going to run. But the one problem with this offense, he does a lot of empty. There's no backs back there. He better have a quarterbacks that can take hits because they get a lot of free blitzes.
Who's going to get Bruce Smith to practice? That's all I want to know.
Who's going to need to practice?
He's not going to practice. You told me every team needs a villain. And Spurrier's the man.
Every team, every league needs a villain. And right now, he's the guy, and he relishes that. Don't get me wrong. I have a great deal of respect for him, but I still think he's going to be the guy that everybody's gunning for.
And every show needs a villain. And you're
he is.
And you're
that guy.
You're that guy.
I'll see you guys back here at halftime. Let's go back to St. Louis right now. Greg and Phil.
All right, Jim, there doesn't seem to be any shortage of opinions coming out of New York. We'll see how that goes during the regular season. Armin Katayan is downstairs now with Kurt Warner of the Rams. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Two-time MVP. Kurt, how does the disappointment from last season play into the mindset of this team this season?
Well, the big thing is we're trying not to dwell on it too much. It's a whole different deal. It's a whole different year. Trying to focus on what we want to accomplish this year. You know, last year hurt. It was a missed opportunity to us, but we can't focus on that. We can't worry about that. We've got to start fresh. We've got to start new, and we've got to accomplish what we think we can do this year.
Kurt, you said to us yesterday that you really wanted to become more fit this season. You worked hard in the offseason. What did you do, and how do you feel?
I feel great. Best shape I've ever been in. A little worried about the weight thing once I start taking the pounding, but I feel good physically, and I think it carries over to my energy, my excitement for the game, and you know, the older I get, the younger I can feel, the better off I'm going to be.
Well, we're excited to be here. Thanks a lot. Greg?
All right, Armin, thank you. There's a look at Kurt Warner's quarterback, Mike Martz, in his third year as the Rams head coach. You see his career numbers?
Yeah, you know, this is our first time being in St. Louis, and Greg, we talked about it in the opening. To watch them practice, to meet all the guys, I think the biggest surprise is that, you know, I'm a fan too, and I watch it on TV, and sometimes you watch this team, they're so good, you think, well, they must be arrogant, but we didn't find any of that when we came here.
No, none whatsoever. On the other side of the field, Marty Schottenheimer, and you heard what Deion Sanders said, and you know, in talking to Marty, Deion hit it right on the nose. Marty took a look around and said, in order for us to win, not just today, but as we go down the road, we need Drew Brees in there learning on every play.
Oh, he said it exactly right. I think if this was a playoff team, I think Doug Flutie would be the quarterback, but they're looking ahead to when they got a chance to win a championship. That's going to be 2 years, 3 years, and if they get that good, then Drew Brees will be ready to take them there.
And interestingly enough, Marty Schottenheimer says he will not hesitate to bring Doug Flutie off the bench whenever it's necessary, and that doesn't mean that Drew Brees loses his starting job.
If Drew Brees is taken out of the game, Marty Schottenheimer assured us that the following week, the starter will be Drew Brees, and I think it's a very good situation. Doug Flutie's handled it well, and I think it's a tremendous situation for a young quarterback like Drew Brees to know, no matter what, he's not going to lose his starting job.
Drew Brees coming out of Purdue University, now in his second season. And the choices that Marty Schottenheimer had, well, take a look at the numbers, and Doug Flutie, of course, has all the experience, but Drew Brees has all the upside.
Yeah, that's right. And again, you know, it was interesting just talking to Marty Schottenheimer last night. A lot of fun to be around him. He was in terrific spirits. And how many times did he say, I really like this team? He
7
said,
at last count.
Did you count them? Yes. I ran out of fingers and toes. But he believes in it. And he said this San Diego team in training camp worked harder than any team he's ever coached. And I said, oh, come on, Coach. He had some really, really good teams in Kansas City. And he goes, yes, they were good, but none of them worked as hard as this San Diego Chargers team has so far.
Schottenheimer's Chargers are 1-1 in the preseason with a loss to Arizona and a victory over Seattle, while the Rams, interestingly enough, are looking for their first preseason win after losses against Tennessee and the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, and you know, just go back to Marty Schottenheimer. If you want this team to continue to work hard and do what you say, then they got to see the proof. That means win football games, so they're getting ready for the starters. When they win games, they really believe what the coach has to say.
The San Diego Chargers have won the toss, and they will receive. That's Jeff Wilkins. Look at his numbers. Our referee tonight is Dick Hamtack. Big sports night here in St. Louis. The St. Louis Cardinals in action right next door. Wilkins ready to kick it away. And we are underway in St. Louis. From the 6-yard line is Ronnie Jenkins. 20, 25, out to about the 28-yard line. And onto the field will come Drew Brees, who last night did not exhibit any of the nervousness you would expect from a young quarterback about to make his first start.
Yeah, not even, you know, Greg, he wasn't even like excited. He was very matter of fact and very calm. And, you know, this is a quarterback that at Purdue University started 4 years, and he threw about 5,000 passes a year. So a lot of experience dropping back, being under pressure, and handling situations, and it's really helped him so far as a pro.
On first down, penalty marker flies as the give is to Vaughn Sanders. He's out to about the 32-yard line. After a pickup of 3, but we'll see what the call is, and it looks like preliminary call against the Rams.
Somebody had their head over the football. It's a big penalty. We talked about it in the last exhibition game.
Offside. Defense. Left tackle lined up in the neutral zone prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Here's the starting lineup. Damian McIntosh is left tackle. Bob Hallam. Corey Raymer is the center. Tonio Finoti from the rookie from Nebraska.
I'm sorry, Greg. And the backs and receivers, Tim Dwight, full-time starter wide receiver this year. I just cut you off, didn't I? Get used to it.
First and 5. Sanders across the 35 to the 36-yard line.
Okay, really.
A pickup of 2, and it'll be 2nd and 3. And now let's check out the Ram defense. Across the front, Leonard Little, Brian Young, Jeff Scanina, and Grant Wistrom. Linebackers, Robert Thomas, the rookie, first-round pick out of UCLA, Jamie Duncan and Don Davis.
And you look at the backfield, Aeneas Williams and Dre Bly, 2 excellent corners. That allows the Rams defense to be aggressive, take chances.
On 2nd and 3, the pitch to Sanders, trying to turn the corner, has the first down across the 40 and out to the 43-yard line. Stop is made by Don Davis, and if you're looking for improvement in these San Diego Chargers, the big problem a season ago was the offensive line.
Big question mark. What did Marty Schottenheimer said? I took the job out here. You look at the franchise, he goes, LaDainian Tomlinson at running back, he's pretty good, you know. Good defense. The big question mark, the offensive line, they bring in Hudson Houck, the offensive line coach of the Dallas Cowboys. he's really good at this, and he'll make them better than they really are.
Breeze to throw on first down, going to go deep down the sideline. Tim Dwight, did he stay in bounds? It is ruled a catch near the 24-yard line.
Both feet looked like they were in.
That's a 30-yard pickup.
Tim Dwight, noted for his speed, absolutely got both feet down, did a nice job. The hardest football for a defensive back to cover, all quarterbacks know it, even receivers now, when it's slightly underthrown. The wide receiver's looking back a little sooner. He makes the adjustment. Aeneas Williams did not have time to make that adjustment.
30-yard gain to the 24-yard line of the Rams. Breeze almost stumbles, gets the handoff to Sanders, and he is stopped for a loss back at the 26-yard line. Jamie Duncan leading the charge.
Well, you look at the Charger offense, you've already seen in this little drive what they really want to do. Run the football, let's run it again, and let's take a shot here with a long pass, maybe some play action every now and then, and just control the football. That's what Marty Schottenheimer likes to do, and I think it's the right thing to do with a young quarterback and a team that's trying to find a way to win and to control the football game, of course.
2nd and 12 for San Diego from the 26. Breeze to throw. Out here into the flat, complete to McCrary. McCrary diving for the 15-yard line is a yard short of it. A pickup of 10. And it'll be 3rd and 2.
Yeah, this is nice for Drew Brees. Another good start. Name the starter, comes out, makes everybody feel good. We even heard it from some of the players last night from the Chargers. They're glad it's over because they want to form what they got, get it going, and feel good about it going into the season. But good start, hitting the passes when they're open, keeping his team in good situations.
Double tight end setup. Breeze keeps it. And is not going to get himself a first down. He may have reached the 15-yard line.
Now wait, now how did you know he didn't have a first down?
Well, it's just my considered opinion. I could be wrong.
Well, no hesitation from the Charger sideline. Going to go for it even if they are short. Okay, you're right. Big deal. Don't celebrate after a victory. Act like you've done it before, right?
But I haven't done it before. That's the problem. 4th and 1.
Quarterback sneaks. Well, Drew Brees and the Chargers are lucky. It's not a full house because of the baseball game, so he's able to call out his signals, and the offensive players can hear him.
Sanders and McCrary behind Brees. Sanders diving. This will be close. Jamie Duncan, Robert Thomas in on the stop, and he stopped him short of first down yardage, and the ball will go over to St. Louis. Timeout on the field. 11:32 to play in the first quarter. We're coming back to St. Louis after this. Welcome back to St. Louis. Scoreless, 11:32 to play in the first quarter, and the Rams will get their first chance on offense, led by Kurt Warner. 36 touchdowns a season ago, 4,830 yards.
Those numbers you see of Kurt Warner, though, Greg, they're like obscene for a quarterback.
Marshall Faulk, hole on the left side, 25 and out to the 26-yard line. Back to the Chargers play on 4th and 1, and the linebackers who closed were Robert Thomas, the rookie out of UCLA, and Jamie Duncan.
Well, Greg, what you see in this play, Adam Archuleta does a good job of getting in there, causing a mess. But you just see the speed and the pursuit of the Rams. That's all they talk about. Hustling, working hard. They believe their defense works harder than anybody in the league, and you saw some of it there.
Warner to throw. As his man. That's complete. Across the 30 to the 32-yard line is Isaac Bruce. A pickup of 6, and it'll be 2nd and 4.
Greg, just to give a point here, you know what the problem is with playing the St. Louis Rams in the exhibition season? Because you're not going to practice against them because it's still preseason, so you're not being specific. But they come out and you think you're doing well in training camp. You're going against your own guys. You go, oh my gosh, look at these guys. Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Faulk, and then Kurt Warner getting rid of the football.
The tight end Conwell in motion. Warner, deep drop, throws, sideline, incomplete, and that was intended for Bruce. A look at the St. Louis offense. The line in front of Warner. 3 straight Pro Bowls. Orlando Pace. Newton, McCullum, Adam Timmerman with 2 Pro Bowls under his belt, and John St. Clair, who is scheduled to play every offensive play tonight.
He'll be tired. Then the All-Stars in the backfield, Marshall Faulk, and you got Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce at wide receiver. This threesome, without question, is the best in the NFL. Oh, yeah, then Kurt Warner's quarterback.
3rd and 4. Quick drop down the sideline, and there is a miscommunication. Torrey Holt pulled up. Warner threw it long, and the punting unit will come onto the field.
Oh, yeah, Kurt Warner's going to be a little upset. It was an all-out blitz by the Chargers. The wide receiver did not read it, but he held his emotions in check pretty good there.
So Mitch Berger will kick it away, and deep to receive for the San Diego Chargers is a rookie about whom the Chargers are very excited. That is Rashae Caldwell, the 2nd-round pick out of the University of Florida. Wobbly off to the side, bounces. Caldwell will let it roll, and it'll roll inside the 20-yard line. This ends up being a pretty good punt. And it might have been Mitch himself who yelled, "God dang it," as soon as he got rid of the football. 51 yards, all told. We'll be back.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. Wendy's late night pickup window, where you can eat great even late. And by IBM. E-business is the game. Play to win.
Welcome back to St. Louis. Drew Brees of the Chargers ready to start his 2nd offensive series. Line of scrimmage is their own 17-yard line. Josh Norman and Steven Alexander are the tight ends as Brees goes back to work. He still has the ball. Rolling, throws, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Josh Norman, a bit high for the rookie from Oklahoma.
Well, we've talked so much already about Drew Brees, Greg, but there's a couple things. I had a laugh with him last night. He came in the room with us, and Doug Flutie came with him. We all talked about everything, and I said, Drew, the hardest thing about being a starting quarterback in the National Football League, and I know there's a couple guys in the studio agree, that first season through, the grind, the games, it just never ends. You get over a game, you go, oh my gosh, here we go again. Everybody's good. Getting used to that is tough. And when I said it, Doug Flutie kind of nodded and laughed a little because he knows it's really, really difficult just emotionally and physically, of course, to put up with a 16-game schedule.
We asked Drew also, what was the thing that he had to work on, and he said that last year, his offensive coordinator, North Turner, was always after me to speed up my feet.
Well, yeah, he played at Purdue, and if he threw 50 passes a game, I think all 50 were from the shotgun. So dropping back was a new thing for him last year when he came to the Chargers.
3rd and 9. Snares that one, and a shovel pass goes awry. That's incomplete.
Boy, another good example. The St. Louis Rams, they just disrupt. That's what they believe in. And we talked to Lovie Smith yesterday, and a lot of fun to talk to him. But he says, yeah, I believe in what we used to do at Tampa Bay, but we're really going to get aggressive this year. And I kind of laugh. I go, really? He goes, yeah, I got good corners. I'm going to take advantage of how we can cover people down the field. We're going to blitz more, change it up, and just try to control the football game.
Number 18, Chris Taylor, is deep for the Rams. Taylor at the 35. Sidesteps a couple of blockers, stumbling forward and drops just short of midfield. So good field position for Warner and the St. Louis offense. 48-yard punt and a 14-yard return, and we'll be back. Hey, fantasy football leagues for every level are forming now at CBS Sportsline. Join a league or start your own. Sign up, click on fantasy at cbssportsline.com or on America Online, enter keyword CBS Sportsline. Warner to throw. On first down, throws out here in the flat, and that's complete to Marshall Faulk, and Faulk has run out of bounds just as he crosses midfield. by Ben Lieber, number 51. Take a look at that defense for the San Diego Chargers. Marcellus Wiley, Jamal Williams, Jason Fisk, the newcomer on the front line, and Ray Lee Johnson. The linebackers, Lieber, the rookie out of Kansas State, Nani Edwards, a newcomer, and Junior Seau, the perennial Pro Bowler.
The secondary, the guy back there who's a star, Rodney Harrison, at strong safety. If you're a wide receiver for the Rams, you always know where Rodney Harrison is.
Or you'd better.
Yeah, you better, that's right.
Go, 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 go!
On 2nd and 7. Warner throws this side again, complete and out of bounds at the 45-yard line, and once again to Marshall Faulk. For 4 straight seasons, Marshall Faulk has been 2,000+ yards from scrimmage.
Marshall Faulk is so hard to cover out of the backfield because he has everything. He has the speed. He's able to cut, immediately, just like a wide receiver. And when you see him in person, you just have a greater appreciation of how good he can catch the football. And he makes one-handed catches, and he is a wide receiver coming out of the backfield.
3rd and 3. Warner pulls it down over the middle. In the middle, that's pulled in inside the 35-yard line. Marshall Faulk. You mentioned those good hands, the tip football, and now it's ruled incomplete.
Well, Mike Martz told us, he says, Kurt Warner, the one thing he loves and roots for is for a defense to blitz him. Well, the Chargers, both times it's 3rd down, they have blitzed him. The Rams have not handled it well. The timing is just not there. Not enough repetitions in game situations. It's hurt them both times, and that's why they're punting.
Good call by the official. The ball clearly hitting the turf. Rashae Caldwell is deep for the punt. Lofts this one high. Caldwell calls for the fair catch. He made a fair catch call with both hands up in the air. 2 hands in the air gets the job done. Chargers again on offense right after this. Back on the San Diego sideline, there's Marty Schottenheimer. And one thing, Phil, you were mentioning Marty Schottenheimer loves to do. He loves to coach. And he's constantly talking to the guys over there. Doesn't matter if it's a young player or if it's a veteran, he is constantly teaching.
Oh, yeah. I've read many articles and know people that have been around Marty Schottenheimer all the time, and he's a teacher. He really is a teacher. And what did he say about this team? He goes, first thing, fundamentals, technique, we're going to do them right, because he believes details determine who wins National Football League games, because everybody's got talent.
Sanders runs right up the middle and nudges it across the 15, about the 16-yard line. A pickup of 3, and it'll be 2nd down and 7.
The other thing, too, Marty Schottenheimer takes the job with the Chargers. He walks in the room. There's a lot of things we had some good stories, but I'm the computer whiz. Greg's always making fun of me. WWW. That was his first 3 letters or words to the team. It says, we will win. So right away, he wants them to believe that he's going to teach them the right thing.
Breeze overthrows McCrary out of the backfield, and it'll be 3rd and 7. He has his rules. Marty Schottenheimer says, when I got there, and there's some things I want you to do, which is work hard and focus and fundamentals. But the things you can't do in his meetings.
Well, yeah, you don't want no motorized scooters, no hats, no sunglasses, and of course, don't be late. And we'll expound on this a little bit as we go along. Give you a couple of funny stories, at least we think they're funny. Some of the players told us about Marty Schottenheimer.
3rd and 7. Breeze from the shotgun. Throws over the middle, and that is complete to Josh Norman, the tight end. And look at the defense close on him at the 20-yard line. This Ram defense is quick to the football. The first 5 offensive plays tonight, the Chargers gained 54 yards. Their last 8 plays, they've made just 10 yards on offense.
Well, Greg, we watch, we see the teams every week, and sometimes they can blend together. Trust me, the Rams didn't blend in this week when we watched them. It just jumps out at you. Their talent level is, I even said a lot of people have the same talent. They are different. They have more players than the rest of the teams in the league right now.
Darren Bennett kicks it away.
Good players, I mean.
Chris Taylor from his own 34. Gets out of the way of the first wave of tacklers, and he has blockers in front of him. To the 40, the 35, and spins down at about the 33-yard line of the San Diego Chargers. Ronnie Jenkins made the tackle. A 33-yard punt return, and the Rams are in terrific field position right after this. We remind you, you can get complete preseason NFL coverage and sign up for free fantasy football at NFL.com or on America Online. Enter keyword NFL.com. 33-yard line is the line of scrimmage as Kurt Warner brings the offense up with Lamar Gordon and James Hodgins in the backfield. Isaac Bruce in motion. Double tight end setup. Here's Gordon. And Gordon is thrown for a loss back to the 36-yard line. Jason Fisk, number 92, leading the charge, the free agent signee in his 8th year out of Stanford.
Well, the Chargers, by far the strength of this football team is their defensive personnel, and they are active up front. Of course, in Junior Seau being a linebacker, he's active too, but they attack the football. Hard to sustain blocks up front if you're an offensive lineman. And running backs, you cannot be choosy. Make a decision, and you got to go.
Now Lamar Gordon, the rookie, is the lone back behind Warner on 2nd and 13. Warner over the middle has his man, and that is Conwell, tight end, busting across the 25 to the 24-yard line and very close to another first down. He'll be about a yard shy, a 12-yard gain. He'll make it 3rd and 1.
Well, the Rams love the fact that they have 2 really good tight ends, and watch as Kurt Warner drops back. You see the first receiver go through, the second guy comes through. He's open, Kurt Warner waits, picks out the open receiver. That's how they do it. The quarterback drops back, he looks for the first, and the second guy's somewhere behind him, and the third one will be close by, so it's easy for the quarterback to pick open the open receiver.
Here's Gordon on 3rd and 1, has the first down, although he backtracked. Appeared to have the first down, changed directions, and now he's going to be still about a yard short. Jason Fisk with yet another stop. And
they're going to go for it.
No, field goal unit.
Well, Mike Martz took quite a while to make that decision, so I figured they were just going to go for it.
So Jeff Wilkins will line this one up from about 42 yards out. Gets it away. And he missed it. Went wide right. Interesting, we talked about Mike Martz with the kind of offense he has. Maybe do you take a few extra chances? And he says, yeah, sometimes that might enter into it, but he didn't do it here, and he didn't come away with the 3 points.
Yeah, Jeff Wilkins just has not hit the football solidly, but, you know, so many things we want to talk about when we talk about the Rams offense, all the different plays, how much they got. And I asked Mike Martz, he goes, we do no game planning for preseason games. So, well, what about this week? He says, we took last week's Chicago Bears game plan, wiped off their name, and we put the Chargers up there. And no new ones for this game, and they just run what they've been running all training camp.
And the reason for that being they're going to meet these San Diego Chargers during the regular season. Breeze, play fake, throws, complete, out of the backfield is Sanders. And Sanders goes down at about the 37.5 or 38-yard line. We check in with Armin.
Greg, you were talking a couple of minutes ago about Marty Schottenheimer's attention to detail. There's a wonderful story that dates back to the 1960s when he was a linebacker with the Buffalo Bills, and Tom Flores and his wife were going out, and they asked Marty if he would mind babysitting that night, and he said, no, fine. When they came back from dinner, they said, how did everything go? And it was for these 2 twin boys that were there. He said, oh, they were great. Everything was fine, except they were coloring outside the lines. And Barb, Tom Flores' wife, goes, Marty, they're only 5 years old, but that's how meticulous he is. Back to you.
Philly Parker's fly on a straight-ahead charge from Sanders. And looks like an offsides call will go against number 66, Brian Young, the defensive tackle for the Rams. So we wait for Dick Hantak to make it official.
Well, one thing I want to show once Dick Hantak makes this call, Greg, is that the screenplay that was run.
Offside. Defense number 55 in a neutral zone at the time of the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Watch the screenplay. Just watch the running back, and he gets tripped after he catches the football. But look what happened. Look what would have happened if he's not tripped. Here's the defender. There is one person, and we have 2 blockers to take care of him. I think it would have been a touchdown for the Chargers. And that can happen. You're going to give up big plays when you're over pursue or too aggressive on the defensive side sometimes.
Sanders again, this time out to the 46 or 47-yard line, and Jamie Duncan is there. I want to go back to what Armin was talking about, and the stories about Marty Schottenheimer, and if you've been in the league and been as successful as long as he has, there are going to be stories, and Marcellus Wiley told us, boy, his reputation preceded him a lot. A lot of people called and said, hey, be careful with this guy, be careful. And he called a first meeting for 9 o'clock, and Marcellus said everybody was in their seats by 8:48. Breeze throws just as he is hit, and it's incomplete. Jonathan Brown, the second-year man out of Tennessee, was in on Breeze.
Oh, they're calling this a sack. I thought Drew Brees got rid of the football. But again, pressure up front. Jonathan Brown.
Oh, his knee was down.
His knee was down. Good call.
You were ready to raise a fuss, weren't you?
No, I wasn't going to raise a big fuss. But Jonathan Brown, he's like the 7th or 8th defensive lineman for the St. Louis Rams. And you could see he's athletic, he's fast, and he's got to fight for playing time. They got so many good defensive linemen.
And now Breeze has to call timeout because he's running out of time on the play clock.
San Diego, their first timeout.
So San Diego uses its first timeout with 1:17 to play here in the first quarter. I want to remind you, Mondays this fall on CBS, the network that brought you CSI, takes you to a whole new world of crime scene investigation. CSI Miami, Mondays this fall here on CBS.
You know, I want to go back, Greg, we're going to tell a few, Marty Schottenheimer being the new coach, tell a few stories about him, but also Marcellus Wiley. They go in for that meeting. Everybody's on time. They're sitting there. Marty Schottenheimer walks in and he says, hats off, feet on the floor, sit up straight, all that. And he says, everybody, take out a pad and pencil. So Marcellus says, me and some of the other veterans, we figured he's just talking to the young guys. So they all get him out. And all of a sudden, Marty Schottenheimer says, I said everybody. And all of a sudden, where's my pad and pencil? Let me get it up there. And so that's just the way it is. And I tell you what, we found all the players we can tell, the body language, they like what they're hearing so far from Marty Schottenheimer.
3rd and 17. Breeze has time, throws down the middle, overthrows, incomplete, intended for Rashae Caldwell. Caldwell found a seam in the defense, and Breeze overthrew him.
You play a game against the Rams, and you feel good. You've stopped their offense a couple times. But everybody, you just got to realize this defense has a chance to be every bit as good or better than their offense is. And Mike Martz agrees. He thinks his defense can be something special this year.
Chris Taylor chases this one to the far side, pulls it in at the 23, dances across the 25, and he's brought down there, and penalty markers are on the field.
This St. Louis Rams offense, it had one good drive or 1.5 good drives holding against the Rams last week, and you got to be careful. Coaches, you're trying to protect your stars, you're trying to do all these things, but you got to get them in the games, and you got to have these game situations and feel to get it going. Don't expect your offense that's going to come out here week 1, they travel to Denver, and think it's just going to start clicking.
Holding during the return, number 30, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Penalty is on a second-year defensive back, Willie Gary. So now Kurt Warner and Mike Martz will go back to work deep in their own territory. And of course, everybody wants to talk to Mike Martz about this explosive offense, and why not? And Mike Martz says simply, we believe in constant, relentless pressure on the defense. That's a good way to go.
He says, you know, I'm sick of this thing, the defense is dictating everything in the NFL. You know, it's time for us to put pressure on them, and so we try to constantly put pressure on them with formations, and of course he can do it with his play calling and these players.
Trung Candidate makes his first appearance of the night in the backfield for the Rams. Warner, wide open, downfield, Ernie Conwell to the 40, to the 45, 47-yard line before he's caught from behind by Rodney Harrison and Rogers Beckett. 31-yard pickup, and no one picked up Conwell coming off the line.
Look, when the St. Louis Rams come in with 2 tight ends and you think they're going to run it, if I was a defensive player, the red flag would go up because they love to fool you. That's what they're trying to do. So they make you think run. All of a sudden, it's a play action pass. Tight end is wide open because you're a defender saying, hey, they're going to run the football with 2 tights and 2 backs.
So Conwell has a breather on the sideline. First down from the 45. Warner flips, incomplete. Candidate had it go right through his hands. A little bit behind him. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, you know, misdirection. 2 tight ends, play action pass, 4 wide receivers, get everybody nervous, back them off. You throw a screen pass, but it's not a good throw by Kurt Warner.
Now, you talk about rich and deep. You have Marshall Faulk as the lead running back, and you have Trung Candidate behind him, and then you have the rookie Lamar Gordon out of North Dakota State, who has been very impressive in the preseason.
Yeah, he's been one of the stars for the St. Louis Rams so far in this preseason. Has run the football very well and shown that he can catch it in the passing game too.
This is Candidate, and Candidate wrapped up and brought down at the 50-yard line. And with that time, we'll run down, and teams won't have to walk far to change sides. The line of scrimmage is the 50-yard line, and that's where it'll be when we come back. It's the end of the first quarter here in St. Louis with the score. The Rams nothing, the Chargers nothing. We'll return after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Along with Phil Simms, Armin Katayan, and our ace CBS Sports crew, Greg Gumbel here at the Jones Dome in St. Louis, Missouri. We are scoreless as we start the second quarter, and the Chargers and the Rams are scoreless. There's Marshall Faulk, who is finished for the night, we would assume.
I would think so. They got him on the field, let him get hit. Chargers have blitzed every 3rd down, but it looks like they're not going to this time.
Warner throws. Nice defensive play by number 33, Davis Sanchez. Sanchez, the 2nd-year defensive back out of Oregon, knocked it away, and the punting unit will come on again.
Yeah, nice play, Greg. Covering Isaac Bruce, has to fight through all the traffic, but he knew as Isaac Bruce went across that it was going to be a short route, and he ran underneath and knocked the pass down.
So once again, it'll be Mitch Berger kicking, and it'll be Rashae Caldwell on the receiving end. End over end, Caldwell from 13. Cuts it this way, gets outside, getting a block, up the sideline, and walks the tightrope, and he goes out of bounds. You can see a little of the explosiveness in Rashae Caldwell that has the Chargers coaching staff so excited. He marked out of bounds at about the 27-yard line. Coming up on the StL halftime report, Jim, Dion, Boomer, Dan, live from New York to that first half analysis and look ahead at the 2002 NFL season. That's coming up on the StL halftime report. They look so happy there, don't they? Well, they looked happy before the game.
If you were making that much money, you'd be happy too. Dang. You know, but I got to tell you, what'd you think of Dion's suit? You know, I got that suit.
Yeah, you do. It's cut a little differently, and it may be a little different color.
Yeah.
First down from the 28-yard line. Jesse Chapman, a rookie out of Eastern Washington, is in the backfield. Play fake to him. Breeze running out of time, scrambling, still on his feet, moving, and throws it away. Good job by Breeze. Grant Wistrom was in hot pursuit.
Well, I want to tell you about Grant Wistrom, but he just said it all on that play that time. He's on the quarterback, almost has him sacked, falls down, gets blocked, and he still gets up and pressures Breeze again to throw the football away. And he told us when talking to him yesterday that that's all he's about. Hustling, relentless pressure, and just keep running.
Grant says he's been taught ever since he was in high school, if you're going to play football, you always run to the football. Good philosophy for a defensive end. 2nd and 10. Another play action over the middle, and that one's complete. 35, 40, 45, and Trevor Gaylor is out to almost midfield and a first down.
Well, we saw the San Diego Chargers cover Isaac Bruce a second ago. This is almost the exact same play. It's just so hard for a defensive back to run across and go through all those people and try to stay up with the wide receiver. Watch what happens here. Look. Dre Bly, his own player actually gets in his way. And you're trying to cover him, but the main thing, you're trying not to run into somebody so you fall down and you end up giving a really big play up.
20-yard gain to the 48. Breed on the screen. This is Chapman. Chapman outside, 40, 35, leapfrogs over one defender and is out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Dexter McCleon drew a bead on him, and Chapman went right over the top.
And there is some hustling going on by the San Diego Chargers on both sides of the ball, but you really like to see your offensive players working extra, doing things down the field. Josh Norman, a tight end, number 46, gets a really good block down the field. Look at that. Facing one way, turns around, makes a block, and helps the running back get the extra yards.
So the Chargers have moved to the St. Louis 32. Good speed and Chapman in the backfield. Breeze throws to the far side, and that's complete to Goodspeed. Goodspeed inside the 25 to the 22. Joey Goodspeed, a first-year fullback out of Notre Dame.
I think one of the big surprises that the quarterbacks have found out from the Chargers, we're talking to Drew Brees and Doug Flutie last night. Hey, they said, hey, this offense is a little more wide open, we thought, a little more creative. And they give the quarterback a lot of responsibilities to change plays, to go up the line of scrimmage and determine what you want to do, run it or throw it. And they both seem very happy with what's been designed by Cam Cameron, the offensive coordinator.
Breeze going to pull it down and run inside the 20 to the 19.
Right here.
Don Davis there to bring him down. 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7.
And if you want to get your young quarterback and teach him how to make it work in the National Football League, and you want to try to protect him and make it as easy as you can, then you throw play action passes on first down. The Chargers doing an excellent job of that tonight. You know, don't run and then say third. Okay, Drew, pick it up for us.
On 2nd and 7, Chapman threw him up the middle, jumping over tacklers into the 13. Duncan, Brian Young on the stop, about a yard shy of a first down. It'll be 3rd and 1.
Well, that time they ran over the right guard, Fanotti. He's a rookie from Nebraska, and Marty Schottenheimer is really excited. Oh, wonderful job by the fullback, too, doing a good job. Joey Goodspeed.
These teams are combined 0 for 8 on 3rd down tonight. Let's see what happens here on 3rd and 1. Breeze is going to get buried at the 22. Leonard Little, number 91.
Boy, not fooled at all. When you watch this Rams team and you study them a little, they can really get after the passer. And Leonard Little last year, 14.5 sacks. They got him down, was a linebacker, now defensive lineman. Really has exceptional speed for a defensive end.
This is Wade Ritchie, and he will try this one from 40 yards out. On its way, and he looks like he hooked that one to the left. So missed opportunities on both sides tonight. 11 minutes even to play in the first half of a still scoreless game here in St. Louis. You're looking at the new quarterback of the Rams, Mark Bulger, and his numbers in their last preseason game against Chicago. What you don't see there is that young man was sacked 7 times and had himself a pretty good night. Here's a look at Kurt Warner, who is finished for the night. Armin Katayan tells us from the sideline that Warner wanted to play another series, and Mike Martz vetoed that.
Well, I wanted to play another series too. But I guess Mike Martz feels like he's gotten enough work and likes what he saw.
Fakes the pass, gives the football to Trung Candidate to about the 33.
Now you talk about Mark Bulger, Greg, and Mike Martz, those sacks. He was a little unhappy with some of the sacks he took last week late in the game. He says, you know, Mark plays a lot better when he's frightened. Because he gets rid of the football when he's frightened, and that's what they really teach here. Get back, get the football out of your hand, find that open receiver as quick as you can. And as the game went on, he thought he held on to the football more and more, and it caused a lot of those sacks.
Coming this way is Candidate, and Candidate got maybe a yard before Rodney Harrison wrapped him up, and it'll be 3rd and 5.
You know, Rodney Harrison is, I don't know, every time we do a San Diego game, that's the first person the opposing coach talks about. Know where he's at, because terrific tackler, can cover, good at blitzing, he's a difference maker. He can hit guys and make them fumble the football, and he calls receivers to look to see where he's at, causes tip passes and interceptions that way too.
Check it, mix it. Charger.
3rd and 5. Bulger on the slant, hits his man, and that's enough for a first down. Francis St. Paul, first-year receiver out of Northern Arizona, on the receiving end.
Well, the Chargers are really giving the Rams no choice in these 3rd down situations most of the time. Again, more guys are coming than the St. Louis Rams can pick it up, so Bulger has to get rid of the football quickly. The receiver was smart, saw the blitz, runs a short route, and they get a first down.
Candidate Hodgins in the backfield. Bulger going to throw it again. Has his man across the 45, and out the midfield is Chris Taylor.
You know, I'll be really curious week 1 of the season when it starts, because, you know, Greg, we talk about this every time we do an exhibition or a preseason game, and you hear it on the other telecast too. Defenses, it's not the way it used to be. Oh, there's a Charger down.
That's Alex Molden, the cornerback. Well, they're going to take a moment to look at Alex Molden. We'll take a moment to step out. 8:47 to play here in the first half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Miller High Life, the champion of beers. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. And by Sears, only Sears has the brands you want at the prices you need. Sears, where else?
Welcome back to St. Louis. Alex Molden walked off the field under his own power. Davis Sanchez has replaced him at cornerback. 2nd and 1. That's first down yardage around the near side for a Trung Candidate. You were saying, Phil?
I was saying something. Do you remember what it was?
I don't listen.
No, you got something in common with my wife then. You never listened to me, but no, I was talking about when you watch these preseason games, Greg, defenses are more aggressive than ever, blitzing, doing different things. And the offense, they're always worried about protecting for that first couple weeks. Don't show them everything. So I'm saying week 1, I just can't wait to see all the new plays and formations and different looks that offenses are going to spring on these defenses.
First down, here comes the blitz. Bulger steps out of the way, rolls, throws, intercepted. Did he grab it? Yes, he did. Pulled it in just short of the 30-yard line. Donnie Edwards.
Boy, Mike Martz is reading the riot act to Mark Bulger there, and I think it says run it. Why would you try to do that throw? But what a play by Donnie Edwards. These linebackers see it so much. Rodney Harrison on the blitz just coming too fast, can't make. But the linebackers in this league have gotten so good at running across the field with receivers and tight ends. And there's a good example. Donnie Edwards cuts in front. When a play takes too long, usually the advantage goes to the defense.
So the line of scrimmage, the 30-yard line. 7:45 to play in the first half. Drew Brees going to throw. Sideline, complete and out of bounds at the 44-yard line to Trevor Gaylor. Gaylor is a big receiver, 6'3", 195 in his third season out of Miami of Ohio. And what's missing from this offense is Curtis Conway, a veteran big play receiver.
You know, I even asked Marty Schottenheimer and the quarterbacks about the receiver situation. They seem pretty happy with it. Rashae Caldwell, Curtis Conway, Gaylor, Tim Dwight, of course, starting. So they feel like they're solid there, and they're plenty good enough to help move the football.
This is Chapman. Chapman escaping trouble and breaks over midfield and into St. Louis territory to the 47. 7-yard pickup, and that's a nice little run by the rookie out of Eastern Washington.
Yeah, I'd say so. Let's see if we can count how many defenders missing. 1. There's a good miss. 2. There's another one. 3. And then when finally he quits dodging, does a good job of just going straight ahead and picking up those yards.
2nd and 3. Chapman again. Straight ahead, and look at him bull through the line to the 40 for a first down.
Now, you know, the Rams have substituted up some up front, but still, this really is what the Chargers are looking for, to be more powerful on offense. And you know, we're not even seeing their star running back, LaDainian Tomlinson. So be aggressive up front, give the running backs just a chance, and then I'm sure there's LaDainian over on the sideline. See, he's easy to spot on the sideline, right? He smiles a lot, and he's got those big diamond earrings.
First down. Chapman again. Cuts inside a tackler inside the 35 to the 33-yard line. Brian Young with the stop.
Now Chapman is out here doing some good runs, and Marty Schottenheimer. Oh, I wonder what he says. Hey, keep that star running back happy. But we saw LaDainian. I talked to him on the field for a few minutes before the game. He is absolutely bigger than he was last year. And he even said something to me. He says, hey, I'm ready to take that pounding.
Sitting out with an ankle sprain, as he did against Seattle. This one goes nowhere, but penalty markers are down.
Penalty flag down.
Chargers doing a good job tonight moving the football, but mistakes, little short yardage misses.
Holding. Offense number 71. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Second down.
That's the rookie out of Nebraska, Tony Ufanotti.
Well, Fanoti's, boy, look at him. Putting a hurt on that helmet. See, in college, he's like going, man, I could overpower everybody, but in this league, if you're going to be an offensive lineman, you're going to be good. You got to learn to hold and not get caught.
First penalty on the Chargers tonight. Clock is moving up on 5 minutes as you look at San Diego's yardage piling up this quarter. No one has dented the scoreboard. 2nd and 13. Brees dropped deep, throws, and that's complete on the screen to Josh Norman. And Norman is dragged down at the 45.
Well, the Chargers mixing it up pretty well. Good play fake by Drew Brees, but we've talked so much about this St. Louis Rams defense, even when the backup comes in. I'll never forget this. When we talked to him yesterday, Grant Wistrom was telling us, I forgot the exact number, how many plays the defensive lineman made down the field. In other words, a receiver catches it, he runs down the field, defensive linemen were hitting from behind, and screen plays, 29 screen plays defensive linemen made the tackles on last year.
3rd and 14. Brees steps up, throws over the middle, and has his man to the 20-yard line. Trevor Gaylor went up for the ball and came down with it.
Boy, just a lot of good things for the Chargers on that play. Protection for the quarterback. Drew Brees gets the protection. Then he does a nice job. Watch him step up, create the passing lane, throw it high, receiver, go up, catch it with your body. Because when you go over the middle against any team in this league, well, let's see. There's going to be about 4 guys around. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they're all trying to hit you.
Trevor Gaylor, 3 catches for 60 yards tonight. the Chargers at the St. Louis 20-yard line. First down. Quick drop, quick slant to Tim Dwight. Down to the 10 and close to another first down.
Tim Dwight, full-time starter, wide receiver now, and he is really liking it. As he would say, yeah, I like it, dude.
A surfer.
Yeah, he's surfing. He's California. Loves the lifestyle out there. Well, who wouldn't? But got a new contract. Says it's going to dedicate himself to strictly to, of course, to playing football. And now that he's getting paid a lot of money, he realizes he's got to stay healthy because that's what the team expects from you.
Drew Brees, 7 of his last 7 throwing. 2nd and 1. First man through is Goodspeed, and Goodspeed has a first down.
But, you know, going back to Tim Dwight, and, you know, Greg, it's like the starting quarterback. There's a certain response. You can't always be brave and tough and all that stuff because you're going to get hurt in this league if you try to be too tough. And Tim Dwight, hey, that's why he got a big contract, because he's fearless and all those things. But now it's different. You're starting wide receiver. They expect you to stay healthy and be productive for the whole season.
We joked about it being a surfer, but he walked into our meeting last night barefoot and said, hey, dudes.
Yeah. He's got his head shaved, no shoes on. Oh, boy.
1st and goal for San Diego. And Breeze calls timeout. Play clock winding down. We'll take a timeout. 2:10 to play, and San Diego threatening.
Looks good. And one thing you can always count on, you know Greg Gumbel's going to watch it.
Yeah.
Look what Drew Brees has done. Yeah, actually, I thought he started pretty good. He hit the first couple passes, but 7 for 7. He looks comfortable, and I can't stress enough. This is a guy or a quarterback in college that got so many repetitions. It's helped his development and sped it along as a pro. He's used to dropping back and looking and finding an open receiver.
Oh. 1st and goal, the blitz, and he's separated from the football. The Chargers appear to have fallen on it. Adam Archuleta on the blitz. Boy, Archuleta was in a hurry, wasn't he?
Boy, he is some improved player. He was good last year, but he's improved greatly from last year already.
2 minutes to play. Here comes number 31 from the far side. Up goes the football. The Chargers still have it.
Well, let's watch Adam Archuleta on the blitz. He comes in, makes the hit, causes a fumble. And I was going to tell everybody, well, when you're a young quarterback, you know, you got to learn to see these blitzes and all that. But Drew Brees was right, because I watched him go to the sideline, talk to the coaches. That blitz was supposed to be picked up. The offensive line didn't get out there and pick up the extra blitzer. So Drew Brees thought he was protected. The offensive line made the mistake.
2nd and goal now from the 15, and everybody jumping up front. Penalty markers fly. And this will be false start against San Diego.
False start. Offense, number 88, 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Rookie tight end Justin Peel.
You know, too, Greg, to go back to that fumble and the hit and all that, Drew Brees, a young quarterback, any team that when you have a young quarterback, you got to be alert for all the blitzing, because that's what everybody's going to look for. Can we do things to confuse him and get to him and cause turnovers? Because that's the biggest thing you can do in a game, to swing it to give your team a chance to win.
The pitch for Chapman. Chapman inside the 10 and just beyond the original line of scrimmage. Knocked down by Adam Archuleta, and it will be 3rd and goal.
Well, we were talking about Adam Archuleta earlier. He jumps out at you when you watch the St. Louis Rams. Very active, and he's going to have a lot of opportunities to make big plays. Going to blitz a lot. They don't ask him to cover receivers down the field too much, but the safeties for the Rams are very active, and it looks like their main job is just to cause trouble.
Well, Marty Schottenheimer would like to see his young quarterback stick the ball in the end zone here. Here comes the blitz. Standing in, running out of time, on the move, throws to the sideline, and that's complete, but it's not going to be enough. Rashae Caldwell came back to make the catch. In fact, it lost a yard on the play.
Well, that time they pick up the blitz again. The Rams being aggressive. A lot of protection. But Grant Wistrom just keeps hustling, causes Drew Brees to move out. And he's running so fast, even if somebody was open down the field in the end zone, he probably couldn't have got the football to him. Wade Ritchie will try this one from 27 yards out. The kick is up, and we have some points on the board with 1:08 to play, 1:07 to play here in the first quarter. The Chargers lead it 3-0. The numbers on Drew Brees, and we are told that he will play the first quarter, and then relief will come in, first half rather, and then relief will come in the second half. Francis St. Paul and James Hodgins are deep for the kick. This one will carry into the end zone, and from a couple of yards deep, this is St. Paul. Left side, up the sideline, and knocked out of bounds at about the 19-yard line by Donnie Green. We remind you, coming up on the Nextel halftime report, join Jim, Dion, Boomer, and Dan live from New York. They'll have first half analysis and look ahead at the 2002 NFL season coming up on the Nextel halftime report. And what kind of odds will you give me that Dion has changed suits?
Oh, I hope he has.
You know, Dion, 10 minutes in the same suit, and it's old.
Well, what can I say? He's got style.
Dion, when they're old, we can pass them over.
Now, you know, that's not the case for Boomer. He still has his first communion suit, so he's cheap, tight, doesn't spend money.
Pass out here to the side, and that is complete to Francis St. Paul. And the clock continues to move. We're under a minute.
And, you know, and then Dan Marino, he can wear anything and make it look good.
We are told that tight end Ernie Conwell of the Rams has suffered a sprained knee, and he won't return tonight. 40 seconds. Bulger out of the shotgun, running out of time, and goes down, courtesy of Junior Seau. Now, Junior Seau, one of those guys who Marcellus Wiley says after the original meetings, he walked out and he said, I'm behind him. How about you guys?
He said, hey, guys, how many games did we win last year? Buy into what he says, and that's what you got to do. And Greg, we didn't talk to Junior last night, but he ran on the field. Both of us looked at each other and said, he's trimmer looking. You know, he just looks like he's in better shape than he was last year, even though he's always training and in shape. But
Marty Schottenheimer says Seau must plug something into a socket at night to get energized. Clock winds down on the first half. And the field goal is the only points of the first half. Let's go down to Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Coach, what does a first half like this with a team against like the Rams do for the confidence of what you've been trying to teach them about winning?
Well, I think that there's some benefit from it. The thing I'm disappointed in, Armin, is we moved the ball. We've only got 3 points. Now, I went for it on the first shot because I don't think you can beat this football team, but we're playing with field goals. But I'm pleased with the effort of our football team. We got the real big stop defensively. So, you know, right now we got to try to get ourselves organized in there and try to finish this thing on top.
All right, Coach. Thank you. Greg?
First team or second team, the Rams managed just 4 first downs in the first half. That is the end of the first half here in St. Louis. Our score, the Chargers 3 and the Rams nothing. Jim Nantz and company with the Nextel halftime report after this message and a word from your local station.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel halftime report. Nextel, bringing you wireless solutions.
A rainy summer night in New York, but we're so glad to have you with us on the Nextel halftime report. Jim Nantz from our 5th Avenue studios. We have reached halftime of this thriller in St. Louis, and it's 3-0 the Chargers.
That's a good call.
Let me reintroduce you to my new teammates here, my new generation of the NFL today, Boomer, Dion, and Dan. Let's get to the regular season here, guys.
Please,
please, okay?
Yes.
What have you seen in that
Enough
first half?
practice.
And no kidding.
Well, yeah, probably the most compelling thing that I heard today was Phil Simms saying that we make so much money when really, in reality, he makes more than all 3 of us put together.
Yeah,
he really does.
But you know what? He won't pick up a check either.
Never picks up a check. But I will say this, that the Rams are clearly in trouble if Kurt Warner goes down. He's probably the most important player in all of the NFL. If they lose him...
I differ with you on that, Boomer. I think Marshall Faulk is the most important important player in the NFL. You see, with a little Falk,
Yeah, well,
we get absolutely nothing.
I would say this, though. If Marshall Falk is not in the game, they can still win games.
Will you tell them who the most important player in any team is?
Quarterbacks. They touch the ball.
really don't
Quarterbacks
agree
touch the ball all the
with you
time.
guys.
By the way, Mark Bulger's a little tie there with you,
Yes,
huh?
that's right. Central Catholic High School. That's where I went. That's where he went.
Break any of your
Pittsburgh
records there?
quarterback?
Any of your
I doubt
football
it. I doubt
academic
it.
records,
I
perhaps?
bet you academic.
Well, you know, Jamie Martin's their second teamer. He's hurt, and you know, looking at this, when Kurt Warner is off the field, this is a different team, clearly, guys. That's why he's the MVP 2 of the last 3 years.
Listen, guys, as we did during the pregame, let's talk a little bit about the season ahead. Let's start in your town there where you were born, Pittsburgh.
Well,
What do you see of the Steelers?
Last year they lost an AFC Championship game. They were 13-3, but they have all the things you need to get back to, or at least have a chance to get to the Super Bowl, because they can run the ball, they can play great defense, and once again, only the question mark might be Cordell Stewart.
Cordell is not the question mark. I think that getting Kendrick Bell
What are you
as
talking
the
about?
question. Cordell can play. He proved himself last year, man. He hit those receivers. He was consistent. You got a third-rated offense and a #1 defense. We need Kendrick Bell back.
They got a weak division, too, Boomer.
No, they don't have a weak division. I really think that Cleveland and Cincinnati I don't agree with you at all, but Cleveland and Cincinnati are going to be vastly improved. Baltimore is going to be on the way down.
Come on now.
My God.
Well, listen, you haven't heard the best of it yet. Don't laugh yet, so keep going.
All right, let's talk
He
about
has to
out
be
west.
positive. It's early in the
Out
season.
west, the Broncos. What do you think of Brian Griese?
I love Brian Griese. What Shannon Sharp and Mike Shanahan and everybody else out there is doing to him, I think, is putting added pressure on him. And I understand that you want to put pressure on players to make them live up to the expectations that you have for him. They just got to back off. He's going to have McCaffrey back this year.
Yes.
Shannon Sharp is back this year. They'll have a healthy running game, even without Terrell Davis. I look for him to be the comeback player of the year in the NFL.
Speaking of Terrell Davis, he is a Hall of Fame.
That's been percolating
Terrell,
a little bit. I
if
agree.
you can hear me, please retire.
Yeah.
One name. Gale Sayers. That's all you have to say. And right there is Terrell Davis.
Terrell's 2 Super Bowls.
Right.
Too short a career, but gigantic stats. Big impact. Talking about comebacks, though. Comeback team of the year, Dan? You say Buffalo.
I like Buffalo just simply because Drew Bledsoe. I know what kind of competitor he is and the type of player he is. And going up there and the kind of offense that he could really perform there with Peerless Price outside and Eric Moles, I think they're going to have a heck of a shot to go 8-8 maybe, get a chance to get in the playoffs.
What kind of comeback is 8-8? That's not a comeback.
From 3 and 13. 3 and 13, it's a pretty good
His
comeback.
bread and butter will be Larry Centers.
Yeah, he's a heck of a player.
But again, probably the toughest division in all of the NFL, the AFC East.
All right, Dion, what about Tampa Bay? Team I like over on the NFC side.
Tampa Bay. Johnson, we have a problem. Rob Johnson, Brad Johnson. But there's another Johnson who don't care. He just wants
the ball.
That's it.
He will get the ball.
How do we know that?
We know it very well because we've played with temperamental receivers in our time.
Yeah. I know another person's going to help him is Keenan McCardle. He's going to take a little pressure off them, stretch the field a little bit. He's a heck of an acquisition, free agent acquisition this year.
Look for Big Sap to turn it on this year, baby.
Oh, yeah.
He's already turned it on.
Keenan, that is a powerful combination.
Yes,
guys, I look forward to getting the season started.
I'm going out on a limb.
Yeah.
Before we even get back, we won't even get back. This game will be over. San Francisco beats the Giants. Terrell Owens goes off. 6 to 10 catches, 100-something yards.
On the Thursday night game.
It's on fire.
Boomer's writing it down.
Don't laugh. Cincinnati's making the playoffs this year.
Baseball?
You said don't laugh. One note before we say goodbye, and sincerely, we want to send our congratulations to our Associate Director, Linda Coppola, and her husband, Tom, on the birth tonight of their first child, a boy, Theo Joseph. Welcome, TJ, from all of us here at CBS Sports. Thanks again for watching the Nextel Halftime Report. Greg and Phil back with the second half of the Chargers and the Rams in just a moment. See you guys in a couple of weeks.
All right.
CBS Sports presents the Nextel Halftime Report. Nextel, bringing you wireless solutions.
We're at halftime in St. Louis, and the Rams trail San Diego by a score of 3-0. A couple of teams in the spotlight tonight. The Rams looking to get back to the Super Bowl. The Chargers looking to become contenders again. 3-0 San Diego, and we'll continue the NFL on CBS after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back to St. Louis. Greg Gumbel along with Phil Simms. It's only a 3-0 game. And there are a couple of givens. One is that the St. Louis Rams are definitely going to be powerful when the season begins. But all of the question marks and all the spotlights tonight were going to be on Drew Brees, and he performed very well in the first half.
Yeah, I think everybody from the Chargers will be happy with what he did in the first half. The biggest thing that sticks out to me about Drew Brees is he just is confident and very calm in what he does out there. He never seems to get rattled, and I know that's one of the big reasons why Marty Schottenheimer chose him to be a starting quarterback, because he knew as a young quarterback he could handle it.
You see the numbers there. All told, he was 12 of 17 for 150 yards, sacked 3 times under a blitzing Ram defense, and held his own.
You know what? Just that little shot we had of him on the side. You can see he feels good. He knows he played pretty well, and he gave his team quite a few chances to get down there and score. They just couldn't take advantage of it.
From the 3-yard line, this is Darren Hall of the Rams, and is brought down just as he crosses the 15-yard line. Take a look at some halftime numbers, and you know, if anything is going to jump out at you, it's the total yards and the time of possession put up by the San Diego Chargers.
Yeah, and then you know the St. Louis Rams. You know, we heard it from them. They just can't wait for the season to start. On NFL terms, they're a veteran team. In the preseason, not that they get bored, but they want to get going to the real stuff. When you've been in the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years, you've scored over 500 points the last 3 years, and you've got these veteran good players. Sometimes they lose their attention in preseason.
This is Trung Candidate dragged down from behind by Vernon Fox, number 36. Let's check in with Armin Katayan. Armin.
Thanks, Greg. Exactly what you were talking about, Phil. When I spoke to Mike Martz, I said, can you take anything good out of this? And he kind of smiled and he said, well, Armin, we're healthy. We made it through the first half without any injuries. But he did say he's going to really try to open it up more in the second half and give his young kids a chance to really show themselves and prove themselves to him. He says, I'm going to give them a chance to try to make my football team. Greg?
Thanks, Armin. Armin looks good tonight, doesn't he?
Armin always looks good in a coat and tie.
2nd and 10. Mark Bulger continuing at quarterback. Over the middle. Almost to the 20-yard line is Chris Taylor, number 18. And talking about the lack of activity by the regulars in the first half, Marshall Faulk touched the ball 3 times tonight. Isaac Bruce had 1 catch. Torrey Holt had no receptions at all.
Kurt Warner just threw 10 passes, and but Greg, that's right. Mike Martz, look at the Stars and what they did, but Mike Martz, he's right when he said to Armin, he's just worried about a core group of players getting them through this preseason healthy.
Bulger intercepted. Davis Sanchez, number 33, with the football. Taking to the far side, gets a block, cuts inside the 25 to the 20, and back across the 15-yard line. Fine return by Davis Sanchez of 26 yards.
Well, Sanchez does a nice job of just seeing the ball released from the quarterback's hands. But we talked to the receivers for the Rams, 2 yards inside the number is where they are supposed to catch this football. Look where it's thrown. You know, a couple yards inside the numbers, but it's a little too late. That's why the football is intercepted. Yo Murphy, nice route. He's open. Bulger does not lead him enough for the completion. Instead, he gets the interception.
Doug Flutie in at quarterback has the ball first down at the 15-yard line of the St. Louis Rams. Flutie flips it out here. That's complete. Norman inside the 5, touchdown. You know, as relief stints go for quarterbacks, that's not a bad outing for Doug Flutie.
Oh, man, you always hope for that. Get the ball on a turnover, get it way inside. Nice fake by Doug Flutie. These type of plays have a better chance of working when you go against backups. They over-pursue. Now you fake it, you throw it in the flat. Norman really showing. Marty Schottenheimer talked about this. Another big surprise, a free agent from Oklahoma. How good he is, and he is going to make this football team too.
The extra point is up, and it is good. And just like that, after the turnover courtesy of Davis Sanchez, and then the Josh Norman touchdown, and the Chargers are up 10. Davis Sanchez, number 33, is all smiles. His 25-yard return of the interception set up the touchdown. And the Chargers lead by a score of 10-0. Out of the end zone, Francis St. Paul. 15. And crushed at about the 23-yard line. Josh Whitman with the tackle, and the new survivors are headed for Thailand. They're in for a big surprise. Don't miss the most exotic, exciting, and extreme Survivor yet. Survivor Thailand, Thursdays this fall on CBS.
Now, what surprise could there be? When they look at this show, they eat animals, they do everything.
I got news for you. If I woke up and I was in a jungle in Thailand, I'd be in shock. Eat what for breakfast?
Hey, Greg, when you wake up and you don't have silk on your pillow, you're in shock.
Mark Bulger gives it off to Candidate. Candidate around the right side, across the 30 and out very close to, and in fact has another first down.
You know, Trung Candidate, he's getting a lot of action this preseason. And when you watch him, and you know, I watched him this first couple years with the Rams, but this year he seems different. He seems, of course, he's older. He takes his time a lot more, and he's enabled himself to make the cuts and use his blockers a lot better than he did his first 2 years. You know, that play kind of illustrates. You can see he's not going full speed, just running in there. You got to give these guys a chance to get blocks, and you can take advantage of them.
Candidate again. Follows a block by Hetherington out across the 35 to the 38.
Hodgkins just came in for him. No, I'm sorry, Greg. You're right. Hetherington's in. Yeah, I'm correcting you, and I'm wrong. Well, Mike Martz said he's going to really open it up in this second half. Maybe that interception might change his mind just a little bit.
You see the tight end, number 86, Brandon Manumaleuna. There he is. He's only about, give or take a few, right around 300-pound tight end.
Yes, he is 300. He's about 6'1" or 2. He can run and he can catch it.
That one to St. Paul. And that is just about another first down. This may call for a measurement. It is a first down.
Well, one way to get your quarterback going again after an interception. Throw some quick rhythm passes to make him feel confident. Then when you ask him to throw it down the field, he's going to feel a lot better about himself. But, you know, Greg, go back to the tight end situation. The Rams have 2 good ones, so it won't be 4 wide receivers spread the field all the time. They can bring 2 tight ends in there and play action and run it too.
Bulger in and out of the hands of Chris Taylor. Just a little bit behind him, but a very catchable football and a fine throw by Bulger.
Yeah, it really was a good throw. When you play in this offense as a quarterback, you've got to anticipate the throws. You've got to throw before the receiver's looking at you, and that time the judgment from Bulger just a little bit off.
Bulger has thrown 2 interceptions here tonight, and both have led to points on the board by the Chargers. Candidate, right side, wrapped up at the 45. Chris Demery, a rookie out of Kentucky, with the stop after a 1-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and 9.
Well, I happened that time, Greg, just watching John St. Clair, the right tackle for the Rams. 3rd year from Virginia. Played center in college. Probably the best center coming into the draft 3 years ago. The Rams drafted him. Thought he was athletic enough. He's very tall, 6'5" or 6, to be a tackle. And Mike Martz believes in him and said, we're going to play him the whole game to get him ready for the season.
A little confusion on the offensive side of the football, and Bulger calls a timeout. Stops the clock, 10-10 to play here in the 3rd. And the Rams are down 10.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Ford. No boundaries. Warner Brothers' new motion picture, Fear.com. In theaters soon. And by Smirnoff Ice, intelligent nightlife.
Good music to be had in St. Louis, Missouri. Welcome back to the Jones Dome. Bulger and the Rams looking at a 3rd and 9. Bolger to throw. Throws this side. Candidate has it, and he's out of bounds, well short of a first down. And the punting unit will come on for the Rams. Good pressure applied up front by the Chargers. Even in their worst times a season ago, there was never really much question about the quality of the San Diego defense.
No, it was always good, and I believe Marty Schottenheimer when he said, hey, you got a good running back, you got a good defense. That's a pretty good foundation to start to build your team with.
Number 3, Eric Parker, is deep to receive this punt. He's a rookie out of Tennessee. Nice kick, aimed to the far side of the field. Parker has it and run out of bounds at about the 10-yard line by Todd Howard, a rookie out of Michigan. 42-yard punt and just a 1-yard return. Doug Flutie, who's had himself a great second half so far. 1 offensive play, 1 touchdown pass. Chargers find themselves pinned deep in their own territory, and this is Chapman, run down from behind at the 10-yard line by number 77, Chris Ward.
Well, I know Doug Flutie is extremely disappointed in the fact he didn't win the starting job. You know, he told us last night, he says, you know what? This training camp was different for me. He goes, I came in and I competed every play, every practice, the whole off season and during training camp. He says before, sometimes you kind of take a morning off and relax. He goes, no, I gave it everything I had. I grinded it out, but it wasn't meant to be.
Loss of 1 makes it 2nd and 11. Flutie pulls it down, now throws, and that's complete. And out close to the 20-yard line is Justin Peele.
And, you know, that's a nice play by Doug Flutie there. But I even said in front of him and Drew Brees, and I believe this, and Greg, you hear me talk about these quarterback competitions around the NFL. How are you really going to win a job or beat somebody out in 2 preseason games with just a couple throws when situations are always different? It's just not fair to either guy.
Situation is different. Personnel is different on both sides of the ball. But what I found interesting, Doug said he acknowledged that the competition between himself and Drew Brees was very close, and he said if it's that close, then Drew Brees should get the start. Chapman turns it up. 25, 27-yard line. First down, San Diego.
You know, every year you watch these preseason games, and we've seen a few of the players and talked about them for the St. Louis Rams, but here's another one that's caught everybody's eye. Just doing an excellent job of running the football. And when you're trying to impress coaches and make a team, sometimes the best thing for a running back, don't be cute, don't be fancy, get the tough yards. And so far, Jesse Chapman's been doing that.
Look at more tough yards here, but he lost the football. Will it get out of bounds? It did get out of bounds. Robbie Robinson forced the fumble.
Well, you know, Marty Schottenheimer, of course, you don't want your quarterback to throw interceptions. You don't want anybody to fumble. But when you're breaking tackles and you're doing this, it's just a nice play. Not much could be done there. That was Robbie Robinson who knocked the football out. Secure it to your body. He's got the football in good position. But when you're breaking tackles and making an extra move, sometimes if you get hit when you're not expecting it, you're going to fumble.
Loss of 7 on the play. 2nd and 17, and Flutie to throw. Penalty markers are down. Pass down the seam, and he's got his man. Number 88, Peele, all the way inside the 30-yard line. Now let's check the penalty.
You know, Greg, we're talking about that quarterback competition. If you want to win the job, always go against the reserves because it's a lot easier. And you got a veteran quarterback.
Offside. Defense, nose guard lined up in the neutral zone prior to the snap. Penalty is declined. First down.
That 51-yard pickup will stand.
And you get a veteran quarterback going against backup defensive players, it's just going to be easy. And Doug Flutie, very patient that time and waits and just lets the defense separate, finds Peele down the middle and hits him for the big play.
Peele, a 4th-round draft pick out of Oregon. First down at the 29. Chapman Snakes his way to the 25, maybe the 24. Travis Fisher, the rookie out of Central Florida, making the stop along with Koleayi out of Massachusetts.
And, you look at these preseason games, and you got to be careful when you start judging them, when you look at teams and players. But just think about the incentive in this game. How much more do you think the San Diego Chargers have than the St. Louis Rams? A lot. And that graphic, that's just another, well, just bears that thought out.
Chapman again. We've mentioned it a couple of times earlier that the big change in the team that the Chargers are looking for this year is improvement in the offensive line. And Marty Schottenheimer told us the offensive line at practice this season is out early and they stay late.
Oh, I think that could say that about a lot of people on Marty Schottenheimer's team. But, when you have, we talked about it, when you have a franchise running back and LaDainian Tomlinson, you got a young quarterback and all this, then your offensive line, you're going to work them overtime to get them ready.
5.5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. Flutie looking at 3rd and 4 and calls timeout. Clock is stopped. 5:26 to play in the third. And the Chargers looking for more points. We'll be right back. You know what? You can celebrate the start of the NFL season in the heart of the Big Apple with Bon Jovi, Enrique Iglesias, Eve, and special guest Alicia Keys. You're invited to count down to kickoff the NFL Times Square concert September the 6th, right here on CBS. 3rd and 4 for Flutie and the Chargers. Quick slant up high, coming down at the 15-yard line with it is Pat Bateau. 9 yards and a first down.
Now, again, I talked about it, veteran quarterback, young defensive players, blitz. Doug Flutie doesn't even hesitate. Gets rid of the football, and, well, that's a nice catch.
Bateau in his second season out of Texas Christian. And once again, the Chargers knocking on the door, now at the 14-yard line. Chapman left side, inside the 10, and Chapman showing a little power in the legs.
Greg, all the time when I hear it from quarterbacks that are not 6 foot tall, they always talk about Doug Flutie as their idol. He really is, because they think, well, if he can do it, I want those same opportunities to get it done, all that. And he's done it the hard way. He had to go to Canton, all that. But the one thing that everybody leaves out when they talk about, yes, he's elusive and all that, but he has a really, really good throwing arm. And that's why he's making it work in the National Football League. He can move and do that, but he can make the throws, too. When he can find the open receiver, he makes the throws down the field.
Chapman, left side, touchdown. Jesse Chapman. More points on the board for the Chargers, who have now jumped to a 16-0 lead.
That's a nice drive by the Chargers offense and just good blocking up front. And, I just got to go back to it. It just means more to the Chargers right now. They're playing this. We said at the beginning of the show, they've won 6 games in the last 2 years. This is a very, very hungry football team. And, hey, they're hungry during the preseason, too. They want to win.
Boy, how long has it been as the extra point is up and good? The Chargers have not won on the road since week 2 of last season at Dallas. It's only preseason, but you're right, it means a bunch. You see the numbers on the San Diego scoring drive. Charger quarterbacks have completed 12 straight passes. Drew Brees completed his last 8. Doug Flutie has connected on his first 4. This is Francis St. Paul from a yard deep in the end zone. 20. And dragged down right at the 20-yard line by Vernon Fox. Armin Katayan.
Thanks, Greg. You talked about the Chargers defense, how strong it is. Well, they're missing an important piece, and that's their first-round draft choice, Quentin Jammer, number 5 overall. And he's their cornerback that they really need. But I talked to both sides today, and the talks can charitably described as a standstill. The Chargers feeling that they have gone as far as they can go on this. John Butler saying he feels it might be the point that Quentin may not help this football team this year. They're said to be about $900,000 apart. $13.5 million is what the Jammer side is holding firm on. And when I talked to his agent today, Mike Sullivan, he said, you know, we have made major concessions to this club in the last 10 days on what are called incentive and escalator clauses in the last 3 years of the contract. And Mike telling me, he said, I've been unbelievably reasonable and fair with this team. And he said, you know, Greg, he's had 9 other picks. None of them have stayed out a day in camp. And he really feels that he has gone about as far as he can go with the Chargers. So I don't see Quentin Jammer in here anytime soon. Back to you.
All right, Armin, that's very interesting because you know that there's John Butler, the general manager of the Chargers, and you know that these Chargers are expecting Quentin Jammer because they've got a number assigned to him. And in fact, he's listed on the roster at number 23. On 2nd and 7 on the quick slant. That's complete and good for first down to Chris Taylor. You take a look at the San Diego official roster. FGHJ for Jammer, number 23. And there is no question that he can help this football team or any other one that he ends up with.
And there's John Butler. You know what? I say it gets worked out real soon.
No,
That's just how the way things go. It's just, it's tough for both sides. Everybody wants to make a good deal. And generally, this is the big week in the NFL for these type of situations for it to get done. It's like the point of no return. And Quentin Jammer being a San Diego uniform soon.
Bulger under pressure, tears himself away and then throws it away. And Sanchez had another interception and let it flew through his hands.
Well, when he threw the ball, I was looking for Mike Martz on the sideline just to see his reaction. But you can't really get mad at a quarterback sometimes just trying to make a play. He does a good job of getting away from the pressure. Adrian Dingle had him by the jersey, gets away, but Davis Sanchez saw it and was making the perfect break for the ball. Boy, they always say, don't do this. You get this, throw it away. But his instincts say make a play.
On 2nd and 10, they give to Candidate. Candidate, loose football, picked up. Number 20, Antoine Simmons, down the sideline to the end zone for the touchdown. Zeke Marino forced the fumble. Antoine Simmons, a rookie out of the University of Southern California, returned at 35 yards for the touchdown.
Boy, just hard hitting by the Chargers defense. Turnovers are caused a lot of times by players just being aggressive, hitting an offensive player when they don't expect it, and that's what's happened. The Chargers just going all out at a different pace than the Rams, and that's why they're winning 23-0.
Now, in our conversations with Mike Martz, we were asking, are these games important to you? He said, oh, absolutely. I'd like to win them.
He said he'd like to finish the preseason at 2-2.
But each of his preseason opponents he's going to meet during the regular season, and Mike Martz is not about to show his opponents anything that he's going to be using come September the 8th.
And, you know, Marty Schottenheimer, he's got to be over there going, hey, we got to settle down. Expectations are going to get too high in San Diego. But they're playing well and really showing the effects of a hard training camp and just being excited about playing the preseason game. Points off turnover, 17.
San Diego has turned an interception and a fumble into a touchdown and another interception into a field goal.
You know, too, Greg, we were at the St. Louis complex on Tuesday and Wednesday, and we did notice they're practicing. They really did practice awfully hard. And sometimes when you practice real hard in training camp, and they do it so close to the games now in training camp, that you just don't know what you're going to get when you come out here. And there's no doubt this St. Louis team is flat, showing the effects of a long training camp. We talked to the Chargers, too, last night, and they were overjoyed. And they were because training camp is over. Oh, they were all talking. They didn't have one free minute of any day.
St. Paul, again, is deep. And this is St. Paul at the 1. Blocking to the right side this time to the 20 and out to about the 24-yard line. Our opportunity to present to you the NFL.com AOL poll question. Who's the best quarterback to ever play for the Rams or the Chargers? Kurt Warner, Jim Everett, Roman Gabriel, Joe Namath, Dan Fouts, John Hadel. Log on. Cast your vote at NFL.com.
Well, we've talked about John St. Clair, the right tackle. He's going to play the whole game. And I laughed with him the other day. Look how big he is. He's on the right side. I said, John, we'll know where you're at. We won't even have to see your number because your uniform is going to look different than everybody else's. And when you look at him out there, he has sweated through that whole uniform from top to bottom. And the rest of the guys around him, they're still fresh in there.
This is Lamar Gordon.
Unsweated uniform.
And he's got a tattoo
Look at him, though.
On his right bicep that says Beast. And we said, well, what's the Beast? So, well, that's my nickname in college.
That's right, because he is big. But look at his uniform. There's the Beast. Very nice guy. You know, and it was interesting, and he's come under a little criticism because, look, when you're protecting Kurt Warner and blocking for Marshall Faulk, it's a big job. And he's stepping into a star-studded team, and so there's going to be a lot of scrutiny. But he says, I have no doubt I am going to be a really good player. And the coaches are adamant, saying they weren't lying to us or smokescreening us. They think he's going to be really good.
Moving in a hurry on that pass to Lamar Gordon was Lloyd Harrison, and Lloyd Harrison kind of had visions of picking that one off. Let's go back to St. Clair.
Yeah, and the other thing that tells you he's played pretty well tonight is we haven't talked about him. His guy hasn't beaten him, and just a good job, has excellent feet. He's a good athlete, good job of pushing the defender by the quarterback. And I said to him, I said, boy, I bet you can tell a difference from the first quarter to the third quarter. The talent of the guy you're blocking is, oh, no, can't let up. Got to be ready. That guy I'm going against the third quarter, he wants to make the team, so he might try harder. And I said, that's an excellent point.
Bulger. Good protection this time over the middle, and that's complete. Out across the 40-yard line to Chris Taylor. And enough for a first down for St. Louis. We are in the final 20 seconds of the third quarter.
That might be the best play all night by Mark Bulger. Really knew he was protected, actually shuffled back another step, got some room to throw the football, and just makes a perfect throw to the wide receiver.
And it doesn't appear that they are going to hurry to get this play off. Looks like time will probably expire before they get this snap off, and it will. And we have come to the end of the third quarter here in St. Louis. With the score, San Diego 24 and the Rams nothing. We'll come back to the Edward Jones Dome after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Well, tough life of a defensive end. Adrian Dingle trying to get in on the quarterback, and both St. Clair and Heath Irwin say no.
Well, defensive lineman, when you leave your feet, you're in trouble. But you got to do that, knock that pass down.
First down. Bulger pass, batted down, incomplete.
There you go. See, jump up, knock the ball down.
In the lineup for the St. Louis Rams is second-year tight end Brandon Manumaleuna. In his second year out of Arizona, we mentioned him earlier. He is just a big tight end.
Yes, and I truly lost sleep last night worrying about saying his name.
Oh, we've been practicing all day.
Everybody has.
On 2nd and 10, the pitch to Candidate. And making Lamar Gordon run out at the 45-yard line. In fact, we went out in front of the stadium before the game today and asked folks if they know how to pronounce it.
Woo-wee, that's a nice name there. Brandon Malaladon, or
I don't know. It's just spread all over his jersey. You should kind of look for the big guy.
Molly. Manuel.
Manderson, right? That's close enough.
Brandon Manumaleuna.
Oh, now you're showing off.
Oh, thank you. 3rd and 9. Bulger throws, batted down, and a penalty marker is thrown. Vernon Fox stuck a hand in there and may have had a hand on the back of the receiver. Let's see.
You know, Greg, we could have done that tape with the players from the Cardinals and the coaches, the Cardinals, the Rams, I mean.
Pass interference. Defense number 36. First down.
Vernon Fox has the call go against him. It's a first down for the Rams. We asked various players, and a couple of them said, we just call him Brand.
Yeah, Big B. Nobody would even attempt his last name.
So first down, 47-yard line. That's Brandon in motion. And we give it to Lamar Gordon, and Gordon is wrapped up. Well, we went to Brandon himself and said, you know, do us a favor, pronounce your name for us. Here's what he said.
Manu Maleuna, M-A-N-U-M-A-L-E-U-N-A.
Manu Maleuna. You know, it'd be just like us to get it down pat just as we're ready to leave town.
You're leaving town?
Second and 10. Bulger over the middle, wide open. There's Brandon. Brandon 15 to the 10-yard line and a first down. Well, there's more to the young man than his name. He has the ability to run and catch the football extremely well.
Greg, as you would say, now that was nice. Down the field, and what's really impressive, not good defense by the Chargers, but the size. Oh, that was a nice move now, that he can run and still catch the football with ease. That's what we noticed watching him in practice and in the game last week, that he can go up and make the plays, catching the football very smoothly.
37 yards, the biggest offensive play by the Rams tonight. First and goal. Bulger throws out here. Lamar Gordon, and Gordon going to lose yardage back to the 12-yard line. Will be the mark of his forward progress. Orlando Ruff with the stop.
You know, the other thing, too, we've talked a lot about the tight ends and all the positions, but Mark Bulger, since Jamie Martin, the backup quarterback, has been hurt, probably will not play next week either, he's getting a lot of valuable time. I asked Mike Martz, I said, well, is the second job, is it up for grabs? He goes, no, it's not. You know, he thinks in his offense, he needs a veteran quarterback that's had a lot of snaps, and Mark Bulger has just not had enough of them.
Second and goal from the 12. Bulger stands in there, throws outside. Gordon diving inside the 5-yard line.
Now, you know, we started out early tonight, but it's hard to talk about the St. Louis Rams offense when they're doing nothing. But you know, we know when the season starts, they're going to crank it up quite a bit. But Mike Martz, Kurt Warner, we talked to both. I said to Kurt Warner, all right, how many pass plays for a game do you have on a game plan? He goes, and he wasn't sure. He said, we count them once. He says 220, 250. And, you know, I'm like, it's ridiculous. 220 to 250 pass plays. And then the run is just give it to Marshall. That takes care of that pretty easy.
Third and goal as the Rams try to get on the board for the first time tonight. Bulger going to throw for it. Steps up, goes down. Vernon Fox from his safety position made the stop, and it'll be fourth and goal. And onto the field will come the field goal unit.
We had an opposing coach tell us last year they saw the Rams game plan for the game. And 2-point conversions, they happen, about once every 3 weeks in the NFL? He says the Rams had 6 2-point conversion plays on the game plan. Now that is, as Mike Martz says, I plan for everything because you just never know how they're going to play us. So I got something for anything they want to try.
28-yard attempt by Jeff Wilkins is good. So at 11:22 to play in the fourth quarter, the Rams finally dent the scoreboard. They trailed 24-3. Well, the Rams on the scoreboard after a 66-yard drive and Wilkins' 28-yard field goal. It's a 24-3 lead, and the Rams showing every indication of going down to their third preseason defeat in as many games. This will be Ronnie Jenkins from the 9. 25, 30, breaks to this side, 35, 40, and is finally pushed out of bounds across the 45 at about the 48-yard line. We remind you, later tonight, CBS Sports coverage of the World Golf Championships NEC Invitational begins with first-round highlights from Sahali Country Club. Who's on the leaderboard? Well, take a look. Toshi Izawa and Teef Goosen. One shot back. Davis Love III, Phil Mickelson, Darren Clark, Tiger Woods. 3 shots off the pace. For more, go to CBSSportsline.com. America Online keyword is CBS Sportsline. Seth Burford is the quarterback now for the San Diego Chargers. And the pitch is to Ronnie Jenkins. And Jenkins is wrapped up at about the line of scrimmage by Travis Fisher.
Well, Doug Flutie, let's see how he did tonight. Let's get some stats up there. And okay, there they come. Perfect. He feels good. And it really is. It's always in the preseason for any player, and especially a quarterback. You just hope you get some good situations and you take advantage of them, and that's what he did tonight. When the play was there, he made it.
Burford, a 7th-round draft pick out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Jenkins, and Jenkins again nailed at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, we talked about Seth Burford last night to Marty Schottenheimer, and he said, hey, I like this guy. He goes, you can't go wrong taking a quarterback late in the draft, he says, especially when they're 6'3", 240. He says he moves around pretty good, and he has a really, really strong throwing arm. And he goes, now, doesn't always go where he wants it, but that's fine. And, you know, it's good to have raw quarterbacks like this with the skills, and you hope you can develop them and find a really good quarterback someday out of it.
And 6'3", 240 is Donovan McNabb's size numbers. Down the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Steve Hyden, the 4th-year tight end. Steve Hyden down there and 5 St. Louis Rams around him. But he had the step. That ends the string of consecutive completions by San Diego quarterbacks at 13 straight. Bill LaFleur is going to kick it away. First-year man out of Nebraska. That is Francis St. Paul at his own 10-yard line. There is a St. Paul and a St. Clair on this Rams team. They figure to go well in St. Louis.
Now, did you think about that?
Right, just now. To the 15-yard line, we have a penalty marker back upfield.
I'll say something else cute.
Tackle by 50, bid.
A few conversation at midfield with Dick Hantack and a couple of his guys.
Because, see, I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm done. I've said all I've had to say. Somebody whispered in their ear and said, finally, yes.
A resounding thank you from the truck.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the conversation goes on at midfield with 9.5 to play here in the 4th quarter.
Well, that makes me think it's on the, well, I'll be wrong. I'm always wrong. It's got to be on the offensive side. It's going to be the formation. Does somebody not line up properly? There we go.
It's a false start. Don't you wish you had shut up?
No, I'm right. You'll see.
Illegal formation.
Oh!
On the kicking team. Only 2 men on the left side of the line. Penalty is declined. First down, St. Louis.
And you wonder why you're my hero. 9.5 to play. 4th quarter.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Radio Shack. You've got questions, we've got answers. Aleve, all day strong, all day long. And by Sprint. Experience the clear alternative to cellular today.
Look at the beautiful St. Louis Arch here in the state of Missouri. First down for the Rams at their own 15-yard line. Junior Seau looking on. His team on the long end of a 24-3 score. Lamar Gordon over the 15 to about the 17-yard line. And turnovers have truly made the difference in this game. Turnovers by the Rams. Bulger's throw picked off by Donnie Edwards there. That became a field goal. Davis Sanchez with the interception there turned into a touchdown, a fumble, and another touchdown. Antoine Simmons returned that one. And Mike Martz will have a few things to talk about at practice. Bulger eludes the rush, throws. There's a penalty marker down. The pass is complete out to the 25-yard line to Gordon. And Vernon Fox thinks that this penalty is going to go against St. Louis. And it does.
You know what I've noticed? I said I'm not going to talk anymore. It's really hard to sit here and be quiet.
Pass interference. Offense, number 47. We'll penalize half the distance to the goal line. Repeat the down. Second down.
I was trying to see how long I could go without talking, but it's impossible. It really is. Oh, yes, that is a nice hit. Yes, very nice. All right, good. I love it.
Angie must be proud.
Come to these games and have a good time. That's right. She's proud of her hubby. Shoot, it is. It's awesome. And then, you know, we heard even the Chargers were a little worried tonight about the crowd noise, but preseason game, even the Rams fans, they're a little spoiled. You know, they're waiting for the real thing.
Bulger out of the end zone, incomplete. That was Adrian Dingle, who did manage to get in on the quarterback and apply the pressure. It'll be 3rd and 16.
Well, Grant Williams, number 72, is now in playing left tackle. The St. Louis Rams traded for him this week, got him from the New England Patriots, and I saw him Tuesday. He was eating lunch. And
with
I
us?
said, yeah, with us. We were having lunch. The Rams getting ready to go to practice. I said, well, Grant, the way things go in this league, I figure you for about 50 plays this weekend or Thursday night. He goes, oh, no, you really? Yep.
He was getting some special treatment from the coaches, too.
They're not going to wait long. Get in there because they need a backup tackle for both spots.
Out of the backfield, Lamar Gordon. Gordon, 15, forward to the 18-yard line. Lloyd Harrison with the stop, but that's well short of a first down.
And, you know, we've talked about it. John St. Clair, the right tackle. I asked Mike Martz and a few people, and I said, now, did you bring Grant Williams in here to take his job? And they just, I asked everybody, no, it's not going to happen. It's that right tackle spot is John St. Clair's, and he played good tonight. He's going to feel good about his progress so far this preseason.
Meanwhile, over here on the sideline, there's Mike Martz grilling his young quarterback.
Yeah, he's letting him have it pretty good.
Eric Parker is deep for San Diego. He'll run this one back from the 43. Penalty markers are down. And look at this return. Inside 35 to the 30 before he's brought down.
Got a flag. You know, it's funny to watch Mike Martz talk to Mark Bulger. He's trying to teach him and to get him to go, but it was also interesting to hear his comments about Kurt Warner. And I said, do you ever tell Kurt Warner not to throw a ball in some tough situations?
Holding on the kicking team, number 30. That penalty is declined. First down, San Diego.
So San Diego will keep the football and that terrific return, and we'll take a timeout with 7:20 to play. Back to the action from the 30-yard line. 1st and 10 for the San Diego Chargers, and they give us to Ronnie Jenkins. Dances his way through the line, inside the 25 to the 22-yard line. Drew Brees and Doug Flutie. I'd say that's a pretty good production from the quarterback position for Marty Schottenheimer tonight.
Yeah, it's pretty good as an understatement. It's excellent. And the quarterback for the Chargers, there's Drew Brees and Doug Flutie, but the position, it's not going to be wide open. They're not going to throw up really good numbers because that's not going to be the style of football they play. But they'll be able to put up solid numbers. And, you know, I hate to say this phrase sometimes, but they'll just ask them to go out there and play safe and not make mistakes and only try for the big play when you know it's there.
Breaking through left side, Jenkins looking for the end zone, touchdown. Was it last season or 2 seasons ago, Phil? We were out in San Diego and we saw Ronnie Jenkins return a kickoff for a touchdown and were impressed by his speed then, and this is a pretty good move.
Yeah, it is a good move. Another job of just good blocking up front, seal him off the inside, kick it out, and Jenkins showing the speed. Gets inside. Oh, not even close. Definitely everything's in for the touchdown.
23 yards on the touchdown run. And the extra point is good. And with 6:32 to play, the San Diego Chargers are busy salting this one away. Ronnie Jenkins tallies a 23-yard touchdown run. He's out there on the special teams kickoff.
He tallies a touchdown run?
A lot of scoring tonight. You have to change up the words.
Oh, okay.
Registers the scores coming up next. Francis St. Paul from the 2. 15, 20. And to the 22-yard line. And we will have this opportunity to remind you, September the 8th, the NFL on CBS celebrates Kickoff 2002 with regional action. Phil and I will be in Buffalo, and Vinny and the Jets battle Bledsoe and the Bills. Chiefs take on the Browns, or Peyton and the Colts get after Jacksonville. Check your local listings beginning with the NFL today at noon Eastern time. For more, go to NFL.com, America Online, keyword NFL.com. Those of you, of course, with computer access.
I am looking forward to week 1. Excited about Drew Bledsoe in Buffalo. Jets have shown that they're pretty intriguing and could be pretty good too. Testaverde has been terrific in preseason play so far.
Drew Bledsoe, you know, is bound and determined to make an impact in Buffalo and in that AFC East.
Well, you know, Greg, we know we've done Patriot games and we watched them last year, and what else? The Patriots, they owe part of their ring to Drew Bledsoe. He comes in, and I'm not saying he saved a day against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that touchdown drive he had was big time in the outcome of that game, and really just showed what kind of talent he has too, and he has a lot of it.
2nd and 7. Bolger pump fakes and then the handoff to Lamar Gordon, and that gets not a whole lot, a yard. It'll be 3rd and 6.
And I'm going to go watch the Jets play Saturday night. They're playing the Giants at Giant Stadium, and you want to go with me? You can stay around, come home with me.
Really?
Yeah.
3rd and 6.
Won't that come as a surprise at home? Got an extra room or two, do you?
Absolutely. All the things that you like.
Well, I am all excited. 5:05 to play in the 4th quarter. Bolger. And this is complete to Chris Taylor. Taylor to the 40 and out of bounds at the 43-yard line. 18-yard pickup on the play.
Well, there's Marcellus Wiley. We had a chance to talk to him, and he came into our meeting, and he had an earring in and all this, and I looked at him and I said, Marcellus, is that a nose ring that you have? And he goes, oh yeah, I guess you've never seen this, have you? He had a diamond in his nose and
in a nostril.
Yeah, in a nostril, and he pulled it out. You know, there's a big hole right there in his nostril. He goes, yeah, it's just an extra blowhole during the game. Oh, and I just go, my God. And of course, Greg, the first thing he thought of is the pain that's involved in getting the nose ring put in there. And
this is Taylor again. Taylor belted out of bounds just short.
And you know,
and first down.
And I said, Greg, could you ever have a nose ring? And he goes, oh no, too much pain involved for him. But let's just see what Greg Gumbel would look like. Oh, there he is. That is cute. That is cute. That is really nice.
You know what that looks like? It just looks like some whiteout got away from me.
Well, you got some white teeth too. You look good. But Marcellus, it was really funny to see. I said, gosh. And he has this long, what do you call it, the stem?
The post.
I said, the post, it's in your nose. I said, man, you must feel like picking your nose all the time, that thing in there. It's
Maurice Douglas straight ahead.
But he could pull it off. It actually looked pretty cool on him. But Greg, it wasn't working for you. I know that.
You know, I even knew that before
I know you did. We all knew that. But Marcellus Wiley, just a terrific player. Came from Buffalo, had a good year with the Chargers last year, and they're counting heavily on him to, of course, provide that pressure. 13 sacks last year. That's I'm going to tell you what, when you get double digits in sacks in the NFL, you can rush the passer. And you're good at it.
Bolger, plenty of time over the middle and complete.
But also, you know, he was funny last night, Marcellus. So I got to say one other thing. I said, now, you've been around Marty Schottenheimer, and he told us all the things about whatever. You know, I said, do you guys have any nickname for Coach yet? Because, you know, Marty can limit himself to giving him some nicknames because he's so intense. And what did he say? He goes, oh, no, we still fear him too much. No, we're not. You know, man, we're still scared of that dude. You know, it's. But
that fear was very real because we're talking to him about Marty, and he said, you know, he's a nicer guy than I expected.
But it's great. I tell you what, it really makes you proud, and it was great to hear him talk about the respect and how they've responded to Marty Schottenheimer training camp this year.
Incomplete inside the 35-yard line intended for Yo Murphy. We get a report from the field that James Hodgins, who is listed as the starting fullback for St. Louis, has suffered a fractured left foot.
Oh, boy. I saw him limp off the field. I just thought maybe he had a little thigh bruise or something like that. I didn't know. And, Greg, he caught our eye. I actually had it in my notes. I wanted to talk about him tonight because he is a big, big fullback. And, boy, did he have the first two games, I don't even know anything about him hardly except that he can really block for the runner.
Listed at 6'1", 270 pounds. Deep drop. Bolger. A lot of room to run. Left side. And closing the gap and making the tackle is Jason Perry, the fourth-year defensive back out of North Carolina.
Well, if it was college, Mark Bolger would have got about 30 yards in this play. But in the NFL, first off, good job stepping up in the pocket. Just gets out of the way, and Tupou missed the sack. But what closing speed by Perry.
4th down and 4 to go. 3:05 to play and counting. And the Rams will go for this. They need the 34-yard line for a first down. Bolger throws over the middle, complete. That's good for a first down and more. Chris Taylor to the 25-yard line. Vernon Fox making the stop. 14-yard pickup, and the drive stays alive.
You know, Mark Bolger is, again, just like last week, he's putting up some fairly impressive numbers. 16 of 24, 153 yards. Well, the interceptions are going to really dampen the night, but last week he put up some good stats, and I would say right now he's probably throwing the football more than any other quarterback in the preseason than anybody else in the whole league.
Chris Taylor tonight, 6 catches for 70 yards. Bolger going down the sideline. Taylor is open and pulls it in and goes out of bounds. Nice adjustment to the ball by Chris Taylor. Stops the clock with 2:07 to play here in the fourth quarter.
Well, that is, Greg, you said it right. Nice adjustment. The ball kind of gets away from Mark Bolger, turns completely around, got his feet down, makes the catch.
Chris Taylor in his first season out of Texas A&M. Making a bid at a very, very tough position because, keep in mind, Eric Crouch also making a bid for the wide receiver position. He is not playing tonight. Shovel pass there to Lamar Gordon, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play here in St. Louis. San Diego safely on top, 31-3. Mark Bolger trying to get the Rams into the end zone. 2 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Bolger 5 out of 7 throwing the ball on this drive, including 4 completions to Chris Taylor. And he's going to throw it again here. Plenty of time. Corey to the end zone. Touchdown. Francis St. Paul.
But what the Rams do, they just protect the quarterback, and they let the wide receiver just go down and make a move. Watch it come to the inside, fake it. The defensive back turns and looks for the quarterback. The second move by St. Paul gets him wide open.
St. Paul with his first touchdown of the preseason. Good for 11 yards. The extra point is good. And with a minute 53 to play, the Rams, with their first touchdown of the night, close the score to 31-10. Let's go down to Armin Katayan. Armin.
Greg, you know, we were talking a few moments ago about John Butler and the difficult negotiations he had with Quentin Jammer, But really, we want to talk about John Butler on a different note. He's in a much more serious personal battle. In July, he was diagnosed with inoperable lung cancer, and he's been going through a midst of treatments out at Scripps Hospital, chemotherapy treatments. And I talked to John twice today, actually on the phone and again on the field before the game, and he said he's doing quite well. He said he's glad to be here in the football season. It takes his mind off what is obviously a very difficult situation. He says, I can feel people's prayers, and he says, I'm going to whip this thing. So I know, speaking for you and Phil and me and all of us here at CBS Sports, we want to wish John the best in his battle. Back to you.
Absolutely, Armin. In fact, the thing that stuck with me the most from Marty Schottenheimer last night, he was talking about he's never won a championship. He wants to win one. He saw a good defensive team in San Francisco, but he says John Butler's presence had a lot to do with him taking the job in San Diego.
Oh, yeah, his reputation as John Butler's a football guy around the NFL. Look, he had a big part in all those good Buffalo teams that went to the Super Bowl, so
Nate Turner's
been well documented.
Nate Turner, 25, 30, and out to the 33 or 34-yard line. And we want to remind you, coming up after your late local news, tonight on The Late Show with David Letterman, funny man Adam Sandler. And tomorrow night, Dave's all new with actress Elizabeth Hurley and music legend Brian Wilson. It's The Late Show with David Letterman tonight on CBS.
And, you know, he's probably sitting there thinking, you know what he's thinking, don't you, David Letterman? Is this game ever going to end? No.
Who was the most dynamic guy that you saw at the St. Louis practice the other day?
Wow, really? Oh, man, that's...
How about the defensive line coach?
Oh, Bill Kolar. Oh, gosh, he was great. He was hilarious.
He is vociferous, to put it mildly.
And these Ram coaches, they coach hard, and Bill Kolar, there he is.
There he is, a former player. Put in some time with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
A lot of time, good player. Defensive lineman, first-round draft pick when he came out. I forgot the year, but it was in the early 70s. But
do you remember seeing him on the field?
We played against each other. In fact, I didn't get a chance to go back, but we would have played against each other in 1979 when I was a rookie with the Giants.
Was that your rookie year?
Yes. Do I feel another something coming on? Did he sack me? Is it that coming?
Ronnie Jenkins dances to the 40. Funny you should mention that. Bill Kolar, of course, had a little different look back then.
Uh-oh.
He was a little bigger. But as we go back in time, does this look familiar at all? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Is that him hitting me?
Yes, it was.
Good for him.
And,
nice.
then John McKay just giving his general opinion of the New York quarterback at the time.
Yeah. Well, that's good. You know, next time we come out here in mid-season, we're going to come out here probably for a game against the Raiders. I'll talk to him about that hit. I'm going to tell him I took his best shot and got up. So, but boy, do his defensive linemen talk, give him high praise, and he's a well-known coach around the league. If you want the coach to get your defensive linemen, get them going, teach them the right things, he can do it.
There, in all likelihood, was the last play of this game, because the clock will run out. These players will shake hands at midfield. The Chargers improve to 2-1 in the preseason. Mike Martz's Rams fall to 0-3 on the short end of a 31-10 score. We thank you for joining us, everyone. For Phil Simms and for Armin Katayan, I'm Greg Gumbel. So long from the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis. Our final score, San Diego 31 and the St. Louis Rams 10. You've been watching the NFL on CBS. Good night, everyone.